Lots of people have asked me what my work is all about. I became quite fascinated at university with the question, how do humans behave? The way that I try and express that is through art, mainly sculpture. I don't really call myself an artist, I call myself a sculptor because that's where I feel I'm most comfortable with. I've always been a maker. I was a maker from a child, and beavering away in my attic bedroom, taking materials from my father's basement workshop and my mother's kitchen cupboards. I had no real ambitions to be an artist at that point, but it was kind of in my blood, and my father was a bit of an inventor. My mother was a seamstress, so there was lots of making and doing going on in my household. At the age of 32, I went to university. After many years doing lots of odd jobs, I'd had a child who was born with congenital heart defects. She nearly died a couple of times, and I went back to university because I just felt after her birth that life was just too short, and I really needed to do something for me, something that I could really project my feelings and emotions into a piece and project that for others to share, really. It was almost like me finding a voice. Eventually I ended up as an interior designer, working for two companies, big companies in the Midlands, and which was a lot of fun, a lot of creativity, and the first company that I worked for was very much into creating crazy, wacky ideas on themes. I tried to kind of pursue a career in sculpture, but it was only really after my son had graduated from school with his GCSEs, he's autistic and dyslexic, that I decided to fulfill my ambitions of becoming a selling sculptor, commercial sculptor. And at that time I met somebody who had a foundry service in Shropshire, and went to him for a residency which lasted about 18 months, learning the entire process of bronze casting using the lost wax method. So this is green wax. Green wax is used in the bronze casting process, the lost wax, and it's often used to pour into a mould. The mould comes from the clay, which is the original sculpt, and you take a mould and then you paint the wax into the mould and you create a wax, which is then invested, melted out, and then you pour the bronze in. The current portfolio today sees mainly bronzes of 2/3 life size, which are intended for garden and landscape use. I've done a few interiors pieces. Ideally, I'd like to move into bigger pieces in the public realm, because that's where I'm trained, and yeah, just really working away. I've got a whole bunch of skills behind me, including project management, people skills. I have a brilliant engineering company that I work with who are really supportive and technically brilliant, advising me on all sorts of structural elements, as well as assisting me in the large-scale manufacture of steel structures. I have a great guy in marketing who supports me, and I also, I use the foundry service, mould makers, and I've managed to get to this point. It's taken me a long time, but still have lots of ambitions, and yeah, there you go.